and let us all do we can to build a better future. So let's start off with our first segment. So this is something that only very few independent media outlets are actually covering, and it's being live streamed right now on Twitter. And it has to do with how Alabama coal miners are basically now protesting in New York City, calling for their fair share of the wages that they are working on. And so the thing is, there is a media blackout, and the only people that are reporting on it are independent media. There's a lot of people on the ground talking about what is happening there. So first, let me pull up this main article right here, the first one on how the workers in Alabama are starting to basically speak out against the injustices that are happening. So we got two articles here. So first, striking Alabama coal miners taking protests back to New York City. So more than 1,000 members of the United Mine Workers of America are planning to once again carry their ongoing strike against Alabama's Warrior Met Coal to New York City. Members are planning to picket the Manhattan offices of BlackRock, an investment management corporation that is the world's largest asset manager, Wednesday morning until noon. The union says BlackRock is the largest shareholder in Warrior Met Coal, the Alabama company that the United Mine Workers of America has been on strike against since April 1st. So union members and allies from Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia, as well as New York, are planning to show solidarity as the strike looks to stretch to its fifth month. About 1,100 miners have been striking for better pay and benefits. The current agreement with the union was negotiated as Warrior Met emerged from bankruptcy proceedings of the former Walter Energy, which declared bankruptcy in 2016. Union members say they made numerous concessions in pay, benefits, holidays, overtime, and in other areas to keep the company going and to get out of bankruptcy. Concessions, they say, total more than $1.1 billion.
Wow.
Wow. So, again, Warrior Met proceeds coal used in steel production in Asia, Europe, and South America. The UMW, United Mine Workers of America, International President Cecil E. Roberts said the union's demonstration this week is aimed at the companies supporting Warrior Met. We're in New York City because we are simply following the money and demanding that those who created that wealth, the miners, get their fair share of it, Roberts said. So I also shared two articles in here, but I actually want to first pull up the first Twitter link because there's a couple of video links of people actually speaking out what is happening there. So let's go ahead and pull up this first video. And again, there's a lot of videos on social media where, again, you have a lot of activists speaking out. There's some independent media outlets as well. Status Quo has been covering it. But let's go ahead and play this first one right here.
By the way, you are in New York City. And when somebody comes along driving a trash truck, they're union. When somebody comes along and is a building trades person, they're in a union. Chances are somebody comes along with a broom in their hand.
Love the dude too.
They're in the union. The labor movement.
All right, it's going to repeat itself.
The second guy is really great too.
Yeah, let's go and pull up that. So again, like, look, you have a lot of workers here because they generated the wealth. They sacrificed a lot of their time and energy and benefits.
$1.1 billion worth.
Yeah. It's nothing to laugh at. There's another Twitter link that we pull up. It's in the show notes. So as we get ready to pull that link up as well, I think it's very important that we acknowledge, like, look, these workers have sacrificed a lot, and they are entitled and deserve. I'm going to say it again. They are entitled and deserve what they are owed. And this corporation cannot get away with it. These workers have been on strike since April 1st. Let's play this next video.
Hello, everybody. Hello. We are one. From Alabama to New York, we are one. From retail workers to mine workers, we are one. This is everybody's fight. And the people in this building have to understand we are not going away.
There you go.
Cannot hide in your corporate offices and enable what's going on in it.
There we go. Let's go ahead and pause that right there. So again, look, these workers, these miners, look, they need to get their benefits. They are owed that $1.1 billion. Kira, I know you got a couple of notes in regards to this story, so we're going to start off with you first. If that's okay.
I mean, I have a ton of notes, and now I'm just making silly notes. Like the first guy, this is not anything substantive at all, but I just expect him to say, New York City. I don't know if I'm dating myself with those commercials.
I know that commercial. I know which one you're talking about.
all
Okay.
right.
You know who definitely sell those commercials? Coal miners.
No, for sure. No, when I first watched that video, I was like waiting for it, but it never happened. Anyway, I won't even talk about the second non-substantive thing I wrote down. But one of the things that I noticed when I was looking into these stories and just hearing stories of other general worker strikes presently, specifically the Frito-Lay strike that had just occurred, and what I've been noticing is that it takes a hot minute for the media to actually pick up on these strikes, because I think, Kit, you got both of those articles from the Alabama company, UMWA, and then which is United Mine Workers of America. So of course it's going to be in that publication, but how many of us are actually scouring those kinds of publications, you know? And the second outlet was called AL.com, which was a local publication. And, you know, having these strikes be publicized is really, really important.
Right.
And I don't necessarily know exactly what my point is with that, other than, you know, this strike has been going on and off since April 1st. The Frito-Lay strike was going on for 2 weeks before it got picked up by anything, and I think it mostly got picked up because of the massive atrocities that are going on inside of that company.
Yeah.
Like people are working 84-hour work weeks, which is cuckoo, and people are getting losing their livelihood, getting injured, and you know not being compensated.
People are going nuts. I mean, my goodness.
And so it's really painful for these folks to be going on strike. Most of these people work paycheck to paycheck, and when it's taking 2 weeks at best for it to be picked up by media, then I don't want to say that there's something wrong necessarily, but it's just not workable. So when I think about a labor strike, I think, yes, that's largely what's necessary. We see what happened when there weren't enough workers, and it's still going on. There aren't enough workers to go back to work for measly, you know, $10 an hour pay, and you know, and organizations, companies are panicking about that because it's the workers that make the economy go. And at the same time, the corporations also have the worker by the balls because they've starved people out so much with how low they're getting paid that they can't stay on strike long enough for the media, for, you know, really substantial media to pick up on it, and shame goes a long way in these conversations. So it's very hopeful to see that happening, but then when I read how long it takes for it to actually even get to our desk, and what kind, you know, where you even found these.
Well, the thing is, where I found, again, the strike that's happening, there was, of course, it was trending on Twitter, Alabama miners, and I'm wondering what's happening with these miners. So I click on it, and I saw a couple of videos from their own Twitter page. I know Susan Sarandon was there as well, speaking with the miners. Status Quo was also doing a few coverage of that event there. They were there today as well. And then there was maybe 2 other outlets as well that were covering what these miners were doing. So, I mean, the thing is, only a handful of people were talking about it, and I figured this is an important story to talk about because when I was looking at these 2 articles, especially with that first article that I read, $1.1 billion.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. And for a lot of these miners, look, let's face it, look, these coal miners, that's all what they know. They come from generations of families that have been working in these coal mines. And here's the situation with that industry in particular. Coal mining is being phased. A lot of these miners are being phased out by these larger machines, and that are starting to take away the jobs away. And a lot of these communities, especially in rural areas, relied on coal mining to fund the community, and so that all these people can earn a livelihood. And it's being phased out. And of course, you hear all these politicians say, well, we're going to bring back mining. We're going to bring back mining, when in fact they're not. And if they are going to bring back mining, they're going to make sure it's more automated, or either that make the job so miserable for these workers that like it's nothing. And the thing is, these workers, these communities deserve something, which is why, again, maybe a Federal Jobs Guarantee Act, maybe a universal basic income. I don't know. The point is, these people are there and they want what is owed to them, and they should get it because they're entitled to it. They deserve it, and they sacrificed a lot so they can, so that company could thrive. Now that company has to pay those workers back, and that company should. Daniel, what's the final note?
Yeah, so I think that's an interesting point, Kira, about how, it takes so long for people to notice these happen. I wonder if a nationwide strike did happen, if it took like 2 weeks for NBC to go, oh, something's going on. And I'm actually really like that they went to New York to do this protest.
Good.
Because obviously everyone's already made up their mind exactly where these towns are anyway. And I'm glad to see that he was talking about, the first speaker was talking about how everyone with unionization. But I agree, if you're saving a company from bankruptcy and you succeed, and you're given, like, my worry is what always happens is they say, hey, don't worry, we'll promise you, not in writing, but we make a solid handshake promise that once we get through this non-bankruptcy that we'll pay you back. Because it doesn't seem like that deal got made when these things were in dire straits. And so I would just say, if your company is going bankrupt, either demand to buy it out, which would be an option, or get it in writing. Get it in writing that you're going to be paid it back. Otherwise, I mean, come on. But it's disgusting that everyone. So it's to your point also, Kit. When politicians say, "Hey, we're going to save the mining jobs," politicians save mining jobs just as much as they create green jobs. They don't. They don't do anything unless their donor wants them to. So if they bail out a mine, what are they going to do with that money that they bailed out? They're going to pocket a bunch of it, and then they're going to buy, as Kit pointed out, machinery that means you need less miners to begin with. Yeah. And the one part of this is we know coal itself as a source of fuel is being is going away. It's becoming too expensive to mine, and there's other sources that are cheaper. Sadly, one of those is natural gas because we don't want to put any money into solar or wind. But we're always going to need coal for making steel because we like steel. We like building things. And I just hope these guys have some success.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We here at Heartlands Media stand in solidarity with these workers, what they're doing. They deserve what is owed to them. There's no debate about it. They deserve what is owed to them because they are the ones who made it happen. So corporations, especially the Warrior Meat Corporation, treat your workers better. And the union workers keep on fighting.